Okay, so Be'ezrat Hashem, today we're gonna go through the Megillah. Every year we do that. So we're trying to do every year a different, to give different commentary on the Megillah. For those of you that didn't find it, page 1252. Page 1252 in the art scroll. And we're going to start with the first chapter, with the first verse. In page, in English, it's in English and Hebrew, it's 1252. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then we're going to read it in English, each time different person. Vayehi b'imei Ahashverosh. Hu Ahashverosh, hamolech mehodu ve'ad Kush. Sheva ve'isrim u'mea medina. Leon, will you read for us, please? Leon, loud.
And it came to pass in the days of Ahashverosh, the Ahashverosh who reigned from Hodu to Kush, over 127 provinces.
That's all. Do we understand the first verse? We spoke about it for the last maybe 5 years. Why did they call him Ahashverosh? Anyone have any idea? I mean, we're reading the Megillah now for how many years? 50 years, 60 years, some of you 70 years, please God, some of you 220. Do we understand why they call the king of Persia Ahashverosh? Anyone have any idea? I can't hear, Stephen? No. So the Gemara in Masechet Megillah, Hazal asked that question, and they bring different opinion why they call him Ahashverosh. One of the opinion is, and that's what I'm going to focus, that Hazal say like this. Hazal say in a Gemara in Masechet Megillah, שהחשיך את ראשם של ישראל. What does it mean, שהחשיך את ראשם של ישראל? That means that the king Ahashverosh allegedly tried to convince the Jewish people that the Almighty left us. Do you understand what I'm saying? And by that he said that, he tried to despair the Jewish people. Do you understand me? That's one of the ideas.
The Nazis said the same.
The Nazis said the same. Many people said the same. We'll see now. Other opinion that Hazal tell us, that if you take the word Ahashverosh and split it to two, you get Rash. Ah in Hebrew is a brother. Rash in Hebrew is a poor. What's happening? So Hazal explained that what Ahashverosh done to the Jewish people when he became a king in Persia, he put such a decrease on the Jewish people. Not only that, he put such heavy tax on the Jewish people that he make the Jewish people poor. And that's why they call it Rash. Is a brother, and Rash, it's poor. That means my poor brother. Do you understand now why it's called Ahashverosh? Another opinion that Hazal say, you know why they call him Ahashverosh? That Kol HaShomea, everyone used to heard his name Ahashverosh. Every person that heard his name Ahashverosh have a headache. Because whoever have a dealing with Ahashverosh never come right. That's why they call him Ahashverosh. Russell, we took the art scroll, we're reading through the Megillah, page 125. That will help you. So we say that Ahashverosh, and that's what I'm, Rabotai, focus with that, because I'm going to jump now to verse 3, and you'll understand why I say what I say. We said that Ahashverosh tried, allegedly, to despair the Jewish people by saying that the Almighty left the Jewish people. Our God doesn't with us anymore. He left us. But we have to understand, how did he came to that idea? The Nazis say that. Nachon? Lionel, you say that. But why did Ahasuerus say that? And how he tried to convince the Jewish people? So if you go to verse 3, listen what it says. And it sounds very simple, but when you read it, you don't understand. But if you look depths into the commentaries, you'll understand. In verse 3 it says, בשנת 3 למולכו, עשה משתה לכל שריו ועבדיו, חיל פרס ומדי, הפרטמים, ושרי המדינות לפניו. Philip, will you read for us loud?
Persia of his reign, he made a feast for all the officials and his servants, the army of Persia and Media, the nobles and the officials of the provinces being present.
Rabotai, I'm going to ask one question. Yes, Simon.
Going back to the previous verse.
Sorry?
Going back to the previous verse. Why?
I can't hear.
Going back to the previous verse.
Yeah.
What's the connection between brother and poor?
Brother, all the Jewish brothers.
Well, they weren't his brothers. He hated them.
No. He make all the Jewish brothers, he make all the Jewish people poor.
Yes.
Kol Israel ahim hem. All the Jewish people brothers. So it say Ahrash that he make all the Jewish people poor. How do you learn that? By saying Ahrash. That my brother is a poor brother. Not Ahashverosh is a brother to us. Chas v'shalom. You want another brother like this? We'll be in plenty Taurus, Simon. You don't need brothers like this. Another brother like this, you have enemies. You'll see how horrible he is.
That's why I asked.
He's a wicked person, Ahashverosh. He looked like nice. We'll see during the Haggadah. So the first question that we have to ask, the Megillah tell us, by the way, the Megillah been written, we explained it previously, by Mordechai and Esther. And in the Megillah it say, on the 3rd year that he became a king, after he became a king, he decided to make a great feast. Just to give you some idea how long that feast was. That feast was 187 days. Rabotai, 187 days. You know how many months is it? 6 months. 6 months feast. Do you understand that? Ahashverosh done that feast, number one, because after he been controlling all the world, he wanted to show his strength, his power, his richness, his honor. He done a great feast. But the question is, I don't understand, and many of the Mefarshim ask, why the Uber Chochem wake up 3 years later to do the feast? Yes, Tzipi.
Because he wanted to make sure that he was in the Malchut, that he was the king, and didn't give them a chance to go against him.
But he's already controlled 127 years. But in the moment that you conquer the world, that's it. Do the feast. Why you have to wait 3 years?
You had to collect the money, the taxes.
Okay.
Pay for it.
So, let me help you. Rabotai, let me help you to understand. On Pshat of the Dvarim, Ahashverosh wanted to show his power, wanted to show his greatness, his richness. And that feast, Rabotai, 18,750 Jews joined to that feast. What's happened there? He done it on the 3rd year after he became a king. Nachon, we say? Ahashverosh wasn't a stupid person like he looked like. He can mislead you. But he wasn't. Ahashverosh read the book of Daniel. The book of the prophet Daniel. And in the book, Daniel tells us that after 70 years from the destruction of the first temple, the second temple will be built. In that case, Ahashverosh wanted to see if that prophecy going to happen or not. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the Uber Chocham didn't count the year properly. So he waited 3 years after he became a king, to see what's going to happen. Is the second temple going to be built or not? But Baruch Hashem, he made a bit of a mistake with his counting. When he saw that the second temple is not being built, he decided now is the time that I'm going to do the great feast. What has he done? Rabotai, he dressed as the Kohen Gadol. All the vessel that the Babylonian took after the destruction of the first temple, Nebuchadnezzar took to Babylon, it was all the time a war between the Babylonian and the Persian. They're always in war. There's always war between them, Baruch Hashem. When the Persian managed to win the war and conquer the Babylonian, they took all the vessels of Bet HaMikdash to Persia. Ahasuerus took out all the vessels on that feast. And he said to the Jewish people, you see, your prophet promised you that your second temple is going to be built. But a matter of fact, 70 years passed and nothing being built. And that's how he tried to despair the Jewish people by telling them allegedly that HaKadosh Baruch Hu left us. You understand what I'm saying? And that will help us to understand why they call him Ahasuerus. That means his plan was, not because he was worried. If he managed to conquer the world, he doesn't have to wait 3 years to make sure that his kingdom is strong. He's already strong. You understand me, Tzipi? The idea was that he tried to prove the Jewish people Has v'Shalom, and he didn't succeed, Baruch Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu left us. But that Uber Chocham forgot one thing, that we have a promise, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu never left us. We saw, even in Egypt. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will never leave us. There is a promise that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given to our forefathers. So now we understand, number one, why they call him Ahasuerus. Number two, we understand why he done the feast on the third year. Was a plan behind it. And to prove to it, he dressed like the Kohen Gadol. Not only that, he took the vessels, and he used the vessel that they used in Bet HaMikdash on his feast. Yes, Philip?
When did he think the 70th year was?
That's after 3 years, after he conquered the world, after he became a king.
But where did he calculate?
Sorry?
Where did he calculate?
Where he calculated wrong, because if you look, a year or two later, the beginning of the building of the Bet HaMikdash started. How do we know that? That's the question that you should ask. Shukua. Because what happened, and it's time they start building the Bet HaMikdash. They start building, but then he stopped it. You know that, Hazal tell us. Because Haman's kids, one of them was a reporter. And he said, if you're going to let the Jewish people go to Eretz Israel and to build Bet HaMikdash, they'll turn and they might going to cause a coup against you. And when Esther HaMalka became a queen, she changed everything. You follow? So from here we see and we understand why they call him Ahasuerus. We see why Dafka Dan, the first, the big feast on a third year, everything linked one to each other. If you don't mind, with your permission, I will skip to chapter number 2 because the time is short and I'm trying to stick to time. In chapter 2, in page 1253 in the art scroll, we're going to go to, where Where is it? In page 1254, chapter 2, verse 21. And here we see a strange thing that happened, that there is a plot by two guardians to kill the king Ahasuerus. Do we understand why? Do we understand who they are? What's happened there? We read it. We just read it. So, please God, when you read this here, the Megillah, you'll have more understanding what's happening. So, in verse 21, it tells us like this. בימים ההם, ומרדכי יושב בשער המלך, קצף, בקתן ותרש. שני סריסי המלך, משומרי הסף, ויבקשו לשלוח יד במלך אחשוורוש. Menachem, will you read for us in English, please?
In those days, while Mordechai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigtan and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains of the guardians of the threshold, became angry and plotted to lay hands on King Ahasuerus.
We read it every year, Nahon? Do we understand what's happening here, Leon? Why? Why did they want it to kill? Why they was angry, first of all? What made them angry that they wanted to kill Ahasuerus? Did you ask yourself? We read it every year. We think that we understand the Megillah. And let's see if we understand. So first of all, I would like you to understand the pshat of the Dvarim. That Biktan Vateresh, they was from a city that called Tarsus. Tarsus. And Tarsus wasn't in the capital of Shushan, wasn't in Shushan. It was like a village far away, and they have their own language, and the language called Tarsi. And not many of the people in Shushan can understand that language, first of all, to understand. And Hazal tell us in the Gemara in Masechet Megillah, in page 13, folio 2, Hazal tell us that Biktan Vateresh, that was the guardian that looked after. Gavin, will you take Humash so you can follow us with the Megillah? That they was the guardian that wanted to kill Ahasuerus. How did they wanted to kill him? By putting poison in his drink. And you'll see why Dafka in a drink. And why did they want to kill him? Did you ask yourself? That's the major question. So, first of all, what happened? They were speaking a language that not many people can understand. As a matter of fact, no one. Mordechai, once that Esther became the queen, Mordechai wanted to see what's happening. He was following step by step after his niece. Esther was Mordechai's niece. He wanted to know what's happening. And while he was sitting there, Biktan Vateresh knew that Mordechai is sitting there. But they didn't understand that if you're a member of the Sanhedrin, each member of the Sanhedrin have to speak 70 languages. Why? That they have to understand if witness come, if there is any dispute, they can understand the language without a translator. So they can understand exactly, because sometimes the translator change, and you'll see it just now when we're going to read. What I'm trying to say, they didn't understand that Mordechai can understand the language. And they spoke freely next to him. And he understand what they say, and with that, he told the plot that they're planning to kill the Ahasuerus to the Queen Esther. And the Queen Esther told the King Ahasuerus. And they found them and they hanged them. That's according to the pshat of the Dvarim. But why did they really wanted to kill him? What made them angry? Katzaf. Katzaf, it means that they got anger. So the Mefarshim explain all the reason that Biktan Vateresh wanted to kill the king Ahasuerus, because from the day that Esther HaMalka been chosen as a queen, King Ahasuerus couldn't leave her. He used to sit and chat with her non-stop. Non-stop. And every minute, he said, I want another drink. the Biktan Vateresh decide, listen, we can't live like this. We're not going to sleep. He's killing us, that king. What's wrong with him? Every half an hour, come. I want that. They couldn't take it. Listen, I need drink. I need that. They say, listen, it can't carry on like this. Let's poison him. How did they decide to poison him? By putting poison in a drink. Why? Because in the kitchen was someone, but they was the guy that going to the kitchen and bringing it. And they can put the poison in a drink and kill him. Do you understand? So the main reason that Biktan Vateresh got angry, because Ahashverosh enjoyed speaking to Esther Malka, that they didn't give them a minute to sleep. That means he drove them mad. Now we understand what's happening in the Megillah. We just read it. Sorry, Stephen? Sorry? That's what I'm saying. There was. But they couldn't sleep at night. Because the king all day used to speak to her. All night used to speak to her. And they say, listen, we his guardian. Yes, we're here to serve him. But give us a chance to sleep. What are you talking about? Biktan, bring me that. Teresh, bring me that. They couldn't sleep. Decided, that's it. We have to put an end to it. How are we going to do that? By putting poison in his drink. Now we understand a bit of the Megillah. I would like to skip to chapter 3. And in chapter 3, verse 10, go to verse 10, chapter 3, verse 10. Page. It's in page 1255. 1255. Can you see it? Can you see it, Simon? Page 1255 in the Megillah. And look what it says. Vayaser HaMelech. Where is it? Okay, here. I'm there. ויסר המלך את טבעתו מעל ידו, ויתנה להמן בן עמדת האגגי, צורר היהודים. In English. Loud, because you're closer to the camera. Even come closer.
So the king took his signet ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of the Jews.
The enemy of the Jews.
So who was the enemy?
Huh?
Who is that?
Sorry?
So who was the enemy?
Who was the enemy?
Yeah. Was it Haman or was it Agagite?
So, who was Agag? Hagag, Rabotai, Hagag was the Amalek, the head of Amalek, that been killed by Shaul. Nahon? Sure? He killed by? Not by Shaul?
No.
By Shmuel. By Shmuel, you're right. Sorry.
So that's why they
He left them alive and he been killed. 70 generations later on came Amalek. That's around 500 years, 400 odd years. Okay? Amalek, that was from his descendants. Why? We have to understand, why does he tell us that he hates all the Jews? You know, quite often we see that these people that don't like us. You know? And you see sometimes people that you live in the same country, that they hate you because you're a Jew. In the city, in the neighborhood, at the university, whatever. But to hate all the Jews all over the world, you have to be from the descendants of Amalek. You understand? Quite often we see that these people that don't like us because we're Jewish, but they'll do business with us. And Rabota, I do business with a lot of Muslims. And they're willing to do the business, we'll do the business. If it suits me and it suits that guy, we'll do the business. I don't know, we don't agree, we don't have the same opinion, we'll do the business. You agree with me, Gavin? 100%. But here, sorry? That's a different issue. No. But you have to be careful with everyone. You understand what I'm saying? But here, the Megillah tells us that he hates the Jews. He hates all the Jews. Why is the Megillah tell us that he hates all the Jews? Rabotai, that will help us to understand what's happened all over the world when they hate us. And that's called Semitism. They hate us. But there are certain people that hate you no matter what. Wherever you are as a Jew, they hate you. And that's Amalek. Amalek hates every Jew. And they want to kill. They want to murder. And they don't care. These others, if you come to South Africa, you see many people here demonstrating and they don't even know what is a Jew. The media wash the brain. Get paid, whatever. But Haman was one of those that hated us, that wanted to kill us. And that's what Mordechai and Esther told us in the Haggadah. That there is people, that they come from the descendants of Amalek, that hate us with no reason. Even if I don't live in his country, I don't live in his city, I'm not his neighbor, I don't do business with him, I have nothing to do with him, they'll hate us. Why? Because we're Jews. And there is people like this. And when you see people like this, you know that there is Zera Amalek. And that was Haman al-Rasha. And that's what Esther, Amalka, and Mordechai Yehudi tell us here. That Haman was so wicked that he wanted to destroy the Jewish people, to kill, to murder, with no reason. Now, if you ask yourself, what reason Haman have to try to kill all the Jews? He have a problem with who? Mordechai, that didn't bow down. We explained last week why. Because Mordechai, the Midrash tell us, was his master. That's why he didn't bow down. You remember we explained that. But the idea here, so you have a problem with one man. What? You must destroy all the Jews? That's Amalek. You understand the difference? And that's the emphasis that Esther, Amalka, and Mordechai Yehudi tell us in the Megillah. Any question before I move on? No. Let's move to verse, where we are. We in verse 10 we was. Let's move to verse 12. Verse 12, it says like this: ויקראו סופרי המלך בחודש הראשון ב13 יום בו, אוקיי? וייכתב בכל אשר ציווה המן אל אחשוורוש המלך ואל הפחות אשר על המדינה ומדינה ואל שרי העם ועם, מדינה ומדינה ככתבה ועם ועם כלשונו, בשם המלך אחשוורוש נכתב ונחתם בטבעת המלך. Stephen, will you read loud? But loud, so they can hear you. Yeah. 12.
The king's secretary was summoned on the 13th day of the first month, and everything was written exactly as Haman had dictated. To the king's satraps, to the governors of every province, to the officials of every people, each province in its own script, and to each people in its own language. In Ahasuerus' name it was written, and it was sealed with the king's signet seal.
Did we understand what's happened here? Did you understand? It's first been written. Nachon? Then it was sealed. And then it said that it was stamped. Don't you see a contradiction here? A bit of a question mark? If you've written it, you have to... No, you have to stamp it. And then you have to seal it. The Mefarshim say, what is all of that? If you look at that, Why does it, Megillah have to tell us that it's been written, it's been sealed, and it's been stamped? You understand? Why it's not enough? They wrote a letter and they sent it in each language and finished. What's the message here? Rabotai, when Mordechai heard about that letter, he realized that there is a big decree on the Jewish people. A decree. He changed his clothes. Instead, he wears sack. A sack is like prickly. And he starts screaming. And he starts davening. And he starts fasting. But Mordechai, that was the head of the Sanhedrin, everyone understand what is a Sanhedrin? Who doesn't understand? Sanhedrin he was the head of the great member of the assembly. Am I right? The high court of the Jewish people. Now you must understand that was Mordechai. Mordechai, when understood that there is here a big problem, the Jewish people in big problem, Mordechai immediately asked Eliyahu Hanavi, tell me, is the decree that there is on the Jewish people, is it written in a mortar or is it sealed with the blood? That's what he asked Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah. Eliyahu Hanavi said to him, the decree is written on a mortar. He said, in that case, we can change the decree. By that the Jewish people will fast, by that the Jewish people will daven, we can change the decree. Because if Has v'Shalom, that decree will be sealed with blood, you can't change it, Hazal say. So Mordechai, a Yehudi, remind me to tell you Gematria of Mordechai Yehudi, please. Remind me.
Whose blood, if it's like the king's blood?
The kings, we'll get to it. Vachabiki. We say in Yiddish, Vachabiki. You know Yiddish? No. That's why I speak to you in Afrikaans. When Mordechai heard that the decree on the Jewish people is in a mortar, written on a mortar, you can wash the mortar. You can wash the decree. You can change it. How? Fasting and davening to the Almighty. And that's what we do every 13 of Adar, we fast. Because that was when the decree on the Jews to kill, to murder all the Jews. To remember what Haman wanted to do to the Jewish people. And to change that decree, we fasting. But, Has v'Shalom, if it was a decree that been sealed with blood, who's making all the decree? Hamelech. If you look here, it says, the king. And Hazal tell us, wherever it's mentioned, the king, that's the Almighty. Wherever it says King Ahashverosh, it's the Uber-Chochem. One second. Let me finish. So it's tell you here that a king, the king is the Almighty. So Mordechai asked Eliyahu Hanavi, tell me, what does it say up in heaven? What did the Almighty decide? Did he decide to sell it with blood of the Jewish people? Or he wrote it as a decree? That means, can we change it? When Eliyahu Hanavi answered them, it's written on a mortar, on cement and sand, we can change it. That's when Mordechai and Esther decide that there is a feast, actually Mordechai, and then Esther says she'll tell also her servant, and every Jewish person joined them. And that's how changed the decree. So now when you read the Megillah, and you listen, and you read that it's been written, it's been sealed, and then it's been stamped, not for nothing. The Megillah, it's called Megillat Esther. What it means Esther? Hidden. Everything is hidden in a Megillah. To understand that, we have to read Midrashim, commentary of our sages. Gavin, yes, you wanted to ask.
Does it any significance about this Chodesh Harishon?
Just explain to me. I don't understand the question. No, explain to me the question.
It's significant that it says it was on the first month, which is actually Nisan.
Oh, that's exactly. So if you was here last week, we explained why they call it Purim, Milshon Pur. Pur is a lottery. What does it mean, lottery? Haman wasn't stupid. Haman was from the descendants of Amalek. The Amalekim, why did Shaul HaMelech didn't kill them? We explained last week that there was witchcrafters, sorcerers. They changed themselves to kosher animal. Do you understand? And when Shaul came to Shmuel, Shmuel said to him, what is that noise I hear outside? He said to him that I have a mercy on the animal and the woman. And he got cross with him. Do you understand? So Haman, that was a witchcrafter and a sorceress, done a lottery. Which month is the appropriate month to decide to destroy, to kill the Jewish people? Which month he come with? Adar. Why Dafka Adar? Because he knew that in the 7th of Adar, who died? Moshe Rabbeinu. Who was Moshe Rabbeinu? Is the leader that took them out from where? From Egypt. No one can go out of Egypt. But Haman HaRasha forgot one thing. That in Adar, who born also? Moshe Rabbeinu. But he didn't done it on 7 in Adar. He done it when? On the 13th of Adar he wanted. Listen to that. Why? Because he said, let me wait another 7 days. You remember that we say, for his Shiva to pass. If you take 7 days of Shiva plus the Zayin, it's fall on the 13th. Do you understand? I know that you're looking at the internet, but focus with me. The commentary. Sorry. Yes, but I'm trying to explain to you. That's when he done the Pur. When he found the Pur, he written it. That in Adar, in 12 months, that's it. All the Jews going to die. You follow? But I hope, please God, next week I'm going to try to do more. I know that I've done very short verses. Every year I take a different verse and I try to explain. We don't have enough time to go through all the Megillah. But please God, when you read the Megillah, it will give you a different aspect to look at the Megillah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should see miracle. Rabotai, today is Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet. And the Mekubalim tell us, Rabotai, I want to share with you a remedy for successful, for health, for whatever you want. Tomorrow, during the day, anytime, and on Friday, take capital 119 in Tehillim. Whatever your Hebrew name is, because capital 119 going according to the alphabetic. Each capital there is 8 verses. Chapter. Take that. For example, my name is David. I read chapter 4. Then chapter 6. Repeat chapter 4. The son of. If you have 2 names, read it. And then, in the end, read Mazal. It's a luck. Mem, Zain, Lamed. And then the Mekubalim tell us, Rabotai, and Bnei Yisachar, ask for whatever you want, and you'll see miracle. Again, I repeat, chapter 119, it's going according to the alphabetic, from Aleph to Taf. It's the longest capital of Tehillim. You write. Read it all. If you don't understand after that, I'll show it. Read it according to your name that you write in Hebrew, not in English.
Is it the father's name or the mother's name?
Huh?
The Ben, is the son or the daughter of mother or father?
I said, because I'm Sfaradi, I say according to the mother. You Ashkenazim say according to the father, say according to the father. So say according to the mother. Believe me, there is a guarantee from the Mekubalim. Mekubalim, that's our mystical Rebbe. And it's not hocus pocus. And you'll see miracle. Those that need health, those that need parnasa, those that need a wife, those that need whatever they need. That's the time to ask. Remember, Rosh Chodesh, Adar Bet, Tuesday and Friday. Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll see miracle, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us. Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mera b'yameinu, amen, כן יהי רצון.